Hello and welcome to the Big G podcast. So, who am I? I'm Big G. I make YouTube videos and I make them primarily now about making videos, and I focus on like cameras and making videos and editing and filming, but I also focus on software and making explainer videos and how to do all that. Just basically everything about making video, and I make lots of different videos in lots of different ways. Now today I'm going to talk about animation. I've always struggled with animation. Whiteboard explainer videos and explainer videos are a really good way to simply get information across. They look really good, they do their job. You don't have to go out of your house, which is great for me. You don't have to get a crew in, you don't have to get an actor. You can do everything yourself and it looks good and it gets the point across. Now, the classic one in this field is Doodle, but Doodle is whiteboard and whiteboard only. And what whiteboard is someone writing on a board. That's all Doodle is. Now, if you want to do animation and character animation, that then gets more tricky because you've got this balance of ease and results. You don't want to spend ages animating like, your Walt Disneys and your Pixars. You'll be there forever. You want to get your results quickly. So there's a balance there. And there's various solutions and softwares that do this, but probably the best one is CreateStudio. And CreateStudio is what I'm going to talk about today. So CreateStudio costs $67 as a one-time purchase. And I've had CreateStudio for some time, and I'll be honest, I've never really got on with it. And I'm going to talk about why I've never got on with it, what the new CreateStudio Pro that just come out does and what it fixes, and I'm overall just going to talk about CreateStudio. So for me, if I want to do character animation, I want to be able to do it simply. And it's not just character animation, anything animation really, boxes, text, characters, icons. I want to be able to do it simply, quickly, but have good results. And really, Doodle does the simple and does the quick results very well. But you're limited in that it's a whiteboard animation with hands drawing and writing, and that's that. So it's a good animator, CreateStudio, but I have had lots and lots of dislikes. And one of the dislikes is things are all a bit all over the place with CreateStudio. So all your media and your assets are in different places. Now, again, the company's come out with CreateStudio Pro. For me, because I had CreateStudio, it's a free update, it didn't cost me anything. And that's fixed. And a lot of the problems I'm going to talk about with CreateStudio have been fixed by CreateStudio Pro. So media was all over the place. And with Doodle, you got a lot included. Now, when I got Doodle, I got several upgrades over time. I didn't get the upgrades straight away. I got Doodle, I used it, and then I went for Enterprise, which gave me more assets. Of course, with Doodle and CreateStudio, you can upload your own assets, but they're never quite as good as the ones you get. I also got Rainbow, which gave me colour, and I got People Builder, which allowed me to build people. And I've used that. So I'm in the Doodle ecosystem. Wouldn't it be great if Doodle was just everything all in one? Of course it would be, but none of these products are. So I have supplemented Doodle, but I do use Doodle all the time. Now, CreateStudio, you can buy extras, and I did get extras for CreateStudio. I got their monthly pass, which gives you access to everything. I think it's about $37, and I didn't use it at all. I didn't use it. I got it to see if it was any good. I just didn't use it. So I lost a bit of money there. Now, with the CreateStudio Pro, it does feel that they've more or less, they've given you another product. They fixed a lot of the errors, but they are pushing you more towards buying that pass. And there's a few annoying things in the way they do things. So you go to search for assets and you'll see, all the assets I want, I've got to pay for. You can do filtering, but it just seems more of a sell, the CreateStudio Pro, and I get that, they're a business. So if I wanted that extra lot of assets, it'd be $300 a year. It's very expensive considering I've already paid $67. So I don't really want to pay $300 for CreateStudio per year, because maybe if I'm spending that sort of money, I could look elsewhere. So that's a huge niggle. It's the assets. They're very good, but you've got to pay for them. You've got integration with lots and lots of stock sites which are free, like Unsplash Pexels, Giphy. That's really good, and there's a lot you can do with that. But one of the other problems with CreateStudio is it's not very intuitive. I spend a long time trying to learn CreateStudio, and because it's so unintuitive, I'll learn something and I'll very quickly forget it. Whereas with Doodle, easy to learn, easy to do. Now, I might be sounding already 5 minutes in that I'm nagging on CreateStudio. Yeah, I am. And this is one of the reasons I've not used it. There are more negatives than positives for me for CreateStudio. And the big negative is the big learning curve. I find that very difficult, and it does put me off using it. But you can make some really amazing animations with it. You can do some really good stuff with it, but you've got to persevere with it. Whereas with Doodle, you can get what you need, and it won't be as plush and as professional looking as CreateStudio, but you can pick it up really quickly and you can do it really quickly. The other problem that they have fixed in CreateStudio Pro was the first CreateStudio was heavily reliant on an internet connection, and it meant if your connection dropped, which mine did at the time, the whole thing just stopped working. It appeared to work, but when you went to do something, it just wouldn't do it. So, and that was because when you were doing something, an internet connection dropped, and that basically ruined the whole thing for you. So I spent, 40 minutes doing something only to find that it was a useless effort because I couldn't get the video exported because at some point in making it, my internet connection had dropped. So again, that's put me off using it in the future. So the Pro does solve a lot of the problems, and the Pro is a lot better. So it's, as I've said, it's not intuitive, but what I've done is they came out with some bobblehead content, and that's basic, and that's the sort of animation that I want to do. So I paid, I think, $70 for that upgrade, and I'm going to see how it goes. In taking that upgrade, I've learned a few more bits of how to use CreateStudio Pro a little bit better than I was using it. But again, I come back to that thing, it was so unintuitive that I would never have known to do that unless someone had pointed out and showed me. There's so many features, but they're just not obvious to do. So there's templates you can use, and really this is so much geared towards social media. All the you can use templates, and there's loads of little templates, and they do all little things. They've got scroll stoppers and things for Instagram. You can very easily do square, portrait, landscape. You can do all those shapes and orientations. But because it takes so long, and again, that's another problem with CreateStudio, I feel it takes a long time to build a video. So you would never really build anything past a minute. You never do a long production in CreateStudio. It takes so long. I'm hoping the bobblehead stuff will mean I can do things quicker. So you look at CreateStudio and you think, there's a template for that. So I'll pull it in by template and I'll adapt the template. And to a degree that does work, but it still takes a long time to do things. So with the elements you get, with the assets you get, with the templates you get, I feel it's very much designed for social media. And I think for social media, it's going to work very well. And it lends itself to that shorter form of content. I would never use this to make a full-on YouTube video. At most, I'd ever make something that's 30 seconds in CreateStudio. And it would look very good. It'd have boings and pops and psh in the right places. Things could all line up. It would look very good. It would look like a professional company did it rather than me, Big G. But it would take me a while. It would take me a long time to do that. So you can also make lower thirds, and this is a great thing for making lower thirds. It has lower third icons, it has YouTube, subscribes, all that sort of stuff. But one of the problems is you can't export your video with a transparent background. So you'd have to do that thing of setting the background to green, exporting it, and then chroma keying out the background. That's not ideal. Now, one of the other things that you're going to say or you're thinking is, if I want to make explainer videos, should I get Doodle or should I get CreateStudio? What's the better buy? Well, if you get CreateStudio, you can do both styles of videos. You can make your classic animation ones with people walking on and scratching their face and scratching their head and thinking and doing those stereotypical things that we all want to see in explainer videos, because essentially that's what an explainer video is. It's conveying ideas with icons, shapes and graphics. So it's going to rely on stereotypes, of course, to convey that sort of understanding. It's always going to rely on stereotyping to a degree. So what you can do is you can make those, but you can also do Doodle videos. Now, I don't think the Doodle videos are as good as Doodle, but you can do them because they've recently introduced a Doodle effect. So you can have hands writing things out, you can have hands pushing things, you can I was going to say easily, but it is easy to do, but it's not as easy as Doodle. You can have that style of video. You can make your whiteboard explainer video in CreateStudio. And of course, you can have colour and it doesn't cost you any more, whereas in Doodle it does. So you can do those sort of things. But I don't feel I've used CreateStudio Pro enough to say whether you should get it over Doodle. I did do a video on my YouTube channel where I compared Doodle and CreateStudio, and if you're watching this on YouTube, I will put a link in the description below for that or up in the cards. And I in the video I basically said it comes down to the use case. How you use it depends on which one you should go for. If you solely want to do whiteboard, go for Doodle. If you want to do more creative things and you've got a bit of patience, go for CreateStudio. I'm going to try using CreateStudio Pro more. I'm going to try and learn it. I'm going to try and see what I can do with it and see, if I would recommend it. So I'm going to be using this bobblehead set of stuff that I got, seeing what I can do with it. If I find it's rubbish, I'll be certainly asking for a refund. So that is my view on CreateStudio. I appreciate it's not a particularly positive view because I do find the software frustrating, timely, and a little unintuitive to use. But like I say, I think you can get very good effects with it. But my use case is doing things quickly, and it always has been. If there's two pieces of software and one I can do things quicker than the other, then that's the one I'm going to pick. I have a limited amount of time to make content and do YouTube stuff. I have a busy life, so I'm spending a lot of time doing other things, and I have to dedicate time to other things. So anything that does something quicker, that's going to be the way I choose to do it. That's just me, and it may be difficult for you. Not difficult, it may be different for you. You may want perfection. I want time saving. That's me and how I view CreateStudio. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you've enjoyed this episode. You can find all the episodes in the link below. Please do like, subscribe, all those other things to try and get this podcast going and get it circulated to a bit bigger audience. Thank you so much. Goodbye.